Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of the video diary. And how's it going today? Today is another day, the end of our third week. Bloody hell does time fly. These weeks are going so bloody fast, and I think it's because I'm like really enjoying it. Like, I'm so happy to be in a position where I can do for a job what I really fucking love. You know what I mean? Don't know what that van just shouted at me, but there's a squirrel there, you missed it, sorry guys. But yeah, it's just really, it makes me so happy that I'm going in now to work and it doesn't feel like I'm going to work. It's great, it's really exciting. It makes me really happy, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. When I came home yesterday, I was doing what I was doing then. I'm like energized to do all this stuff. I set up my Raspberry, set up good old Alfie back there. I'm gonna get into the habit of calling him Alfie. What I'm gonna do is, when I'm at work, I'm gonna ping Alfie, see how fast he is, because he's not gonna be as fast as most servers, purely because like routing to him will be quite difficult, especially if you're like coming in from like somewhere like America. Your DNS servers have no idea where my IP address is in relation to like bigger websites which are hosted at, say if you host a website on like GoDaddy is known by a lot of places and it'll be quicker for that reason. But that's what I'm going to test, basically, just see how fast it is. There's nothing I can do about it, but we'll see, because I bet you that rate there will make it seem slower. You know, if I like run a beast computer, that's the thing that would make the biggest difference. Not the processing power of Alfie, but the literal difficulty to find my thing. Anyway, so I've got a bit of a to-do list going on today. I'm going to try and draft up a blog post, but I'm going to start writing one, I think. I can't figure out what it's going to be about, what it's about per se. But yeah, otherwise though, today at work, what are we doing? Well, on the way to work, we're going to be sorting out a to-do list and figuring out exactly what I need to do today. I think there's quite a bit of web dev in there I'm going to want to try and do, but otherwise we have an interesting day ahead of us. I'm literally going to check out an entire chunk of work and say, guys, if you're going to touch this, tell me, because I'm literally ripping it apart so that I can build a test harness around it, basically, is what we're doing. And that means changing quite a lot of what's there in order to build the same thing again, but so that it can be tested safely and efficiently. The idea being that once you've set up the tests, every time we build the project, it will perform these tests, and we won't have to sit there and go, oh wait, there's an error there. All we have to do is build, if we say like edit something over here somewhere in this piece of code, and then that breaks something over here, the chances of us, when we're testing this, building it and running this, the chances of us noticing that change are pretty slim. But if you set up these tests, then every time you build the whole project, it will run all of the tests and it will go pass. And if you change something and it will go fail, you know exactly where the fail is, and you know as soon as you've like implemented the fail. So you should know essentially which lines of code are causing it. So I'm prioritizing that for the morning. The guys are sorting out the WCF process, I believe, between them, which means they're going to have to work together, which is going to be fun. And yeah, in the afternoon I'm going to be joining them essentially, or we're going to start looking into the JavaScript. Yeah, by the end of today we should have the client talking to the server, enough to get out a little bit of information, and then all we need to do is hard code some graphs to show that we can get the graphs. So that's essentially our process is. We're showing how that we can get data from the server, from the service even, and we are showing that we can display data. We're not necessarily showing that we can display the data we've got, that isn't actually being committed, but by the end of the day we should get data being crossed back and forth, well not back, but one way, and because of that we should be able to get a running service. Right then, it's 8:15. We've opted, well it's 10 past, opted to come in a little bit earlier just so that I can set up. It's kind of difficult because we all work on the same code. I've got to kind of set it up in a way where if they want to add anything it's not hard. Rain, boys. Look at this weather. Ah, this is so nice. It's just a little bit wet, nice and cool. Oh man, I am impressed with the weather. What temperature is it? 16 degrees apparently. Not quite cold enough for a coat, but nice and cool in a hoodie. So, what's going on today? First, I noticed that my server has been knocked offline for some reason. So I'm going to go back and figure out why that is. I tried to ping it from work to see how fast it would be when because obviously when I'm talking right next to it, it's super fast to get to. And it just gives me the page like instantaneously because the network doesn't have to go very far. I was going to test how much worse it would be trying to access it from somewhere further away because the servers, well, it's not really that much of a test because I'm still in Bristol, but the DNS servers would have heard, might not have necessarily, they'd have to work harder to find my server. But the problem is, I tried to ping it and it's not responding, it's just literally off. So I've got to go back and try and figure out why that is. It's either going to be the fact that it's not a, it was just set up as just a normal IP address. I didn't give it a static address. So either the server, the DNS server that my router is, has given it another IP in that sense, forced the servers are now pointing to the wrong IP, or it doesn't have enough power. In which case I'm going to have to re-figure out another powering solution to it. It's currently being powered from my USB hub. While my computer is on, it seems to work fine. While my computer is on, it seems to work fine, but when it's off I can still use that USB hub. It'll still charge things like my phone. So I assumed it would keep running. It's either that or I cocked it up entirely and pointed the servers to the wrong IP address, which means that I can only access it while I'm in range of my Wi-Fi, which is shit. And I've kind of said I set it all up now, so before I get comments on yesterday's video saying, well, the server doesn't work, I need to get it back up and running. And I need to do all of this before we play Minecraft. And I believe I've forgotten to get some dinner out tonight, so I might end up having to go out and buy in some kind of ready meal or something, because, or a takeaway, because I don't have anything to cook from frozen, I don't think. Scratch that, actually I might have eggs and beans on toast, if I haven't got chili out, I don't know. Anyway, work though. Work today, we blitzed it. Holy shit. We've essentially gone through and completely redone, well, I went through and completely rewrote the entire, everything we've done recently. I did that before our scrum, which was at 10 o'clock today. At 10 o'clock I was then building unit tests to test everything behind us. The problem is that we need to have this kind of lesson on how they do it in the company. So there's a couple of unit tests that will always fail, but I've built unit tests everywhere. There's a couple you need to add in. I was doing that for the first half of the day. The guys set up an ASP web server and a WCF, so it's accessing the file we need. So the service is producing a file, and the WCF is, when it gets a response, when a website attaches to it, it will get that file and give it to you, and that stops the service. What it is at the moment is the WCF is accessing the service and making it redo all its work. That's basically the only thing we've changed, but it makes it a lot better, a lot more efficient. Those guys got that running, which then meant we've now ticked off the vast majority of our sprint, which is was not supposed to finish till Wednesday, We've literally ticked the vast majority of it off. What we're doing now is adding the graphs in that are showing a visual representation of the data and trying to link what we're visualizing with the data we're actually getting. Problem was then we were then getting kicked in the teeth by the version control, because for some reason it just kept wiping everything. It was like wrestling a bear. There was like 3 of us were there, all holding the bear, like, come on, we can do it. Like, it was being a massive pig. It's not normally that bad, but we're all wrestling this bear, trying to hold it, and then suddenly it will just like duck, smack one of us in the face, and then all of us have to then get in on it again and try and figure out why the hell it's not working. It was bloody fun. It was fun to start with. Then it was just stressful, and we couldn't figure it out. We ended up having to just just swipe it. What it was doing, it was automatically, every time we run it, it would automatically merge with the server and then wipe all of our code, because it's merging it with an empty file and going, oh, the empty file's right. Wipe. What the hell? Fixed the server, so that's good. Now it's time to cook some dinner. I was an absolute pleb lord, basically, and I set it up to a local address, so only things attached to my wireless network could attach to it, which was silly as hell. However, I've now made it static so that the SSH won't disconnect, but the main web server is being pointed to my router, so as long as my router doesn't change its address, it should be fine. Really, the only time your router changes, it changes quite often, to be fair. Usually when you turn it off, but obviously try not to do that very often, but I'll have to keep testing it every now and again. If it ever doesn't work, message me, because it's supposed to work, unless I've said otherwise in a video saying like I'm turning it off. Blimey, it's been a long time since we've spoken. Blimey. Look, I'm still in skinny jeans as well. I haven't changed my orange shorts, because it's actually quite cool. Closing these purely because of the thingy. Recap. Dinner was very nice. And otherwise, I jumped on and I've sorted out quite a lot about my server now. Problem is, when I was cooking, I then knocked it offline again, because if I put the grill on, it's happened before, I tripped a fuse, I put the grill on and then put 2 hobs on at the same time, and I think that kind of surged it a bit, and it tripped the fuse box, which powered down everything in the house, including the router and the server. So as soon as I'd booted up the router, the second thing to connect after my computer, after Atlas, was the Raspberry, which means that its IP address had shifted. Its original IP address was like this figure over here, because like my phone had connected, this had connected, this connected before it, so it had just assigned it to that one. But resetting it, the router had just pointed to it, another one, and thingied it, and that had broken it all again, basically. It readjusted all of its IP address, which meant that this server was pointing to the wrong one, so you couldn't reach it from the outside. It also meant that I couldn't remotely access it from my addresses either, because I was pointing to the wrong ones, and that's a nightmare. So I spent about 45 minutes sorting out a little program that basically checks to see if the IP's changed, and then it will update the web server. Well, its local IP has now been fixed. It's now static local IP, which means that the SSH commands and FTP file servers will always be at that IP. But then I've also got a server that, if my main router changes, I've got a little program running on it now that like polls like every hour or so, and just checks to see if its IP is the same as it still thinks, and if it isn't, then it'll update the server, the servers that are pointing to it, to say, oh, by the way, I'm over here now instead. Which is just a thing, because your ISP, i.e. Virgin, will just casually change your IP address every now and again. And they don't really let you request a static one anymore. So that's something you have to do. It's not a hard workaround, it's just a bit of a pain. You have to like go through a service and stuff like that, so all that kind of crap. Otherwise, had dinner, put it all away over here, washed up and everything, and then once I'd done all of this, I sat down and played some Minecraft with the boys. Not Xbox Minecraft, not rubbish Xbox Minecraft, actual server Minecraft, online, over the internet, PC, fully fledged Minecraft, like the LAN party. The key difference between us that and the LAN party is that we can do it whenever we want, instead of like just on one night when we're all around, all free. We can spread it out over several nights. We can record everyone's audio much better because we've all got our own mics instead of having one central mic picking up the entire room. And we can connect in whoever we want. So, we're having a bit of a practice at the moment, but once the Minecraft series is over, if you guys liked it enough, I can create you another one, which is exciting, isn't it? Otherwise, something that we've noticed is if someone connects to the website, which I'm going to build up. I know there's literally nothing there at the moment. There is the slightest flash as my Raspberry does a bit of processing. It just flashes a little light and it goes bloop. Someone's here, bloop. I'm working on someone. But yeah, someone tweeted me saying like, have we broken it? Just you guys watching it. What I should do is try and get all of you to attack it at once, just to see if you can knock it offline. But I reckon it can take, because of just how quick it takes to give people a website. As soon as you start to build like multimedia websites with images and stuff, it gets a little bit more complicated, and it might struggle to keep up. But from what I've heard, Beth's tested it from Spain. I've had a couple of testers around the country test it for me, and it's uploading and loading itself pretty quick. So that's good, like a fraction of a second, which is good. I'm happy with that upload. I don't need a lightning fast server because no one's gonna not gonna have anything on it that needs to be displayed quickly. If you know what I mean. It's not like I'm hosting a live podcast on it that needs to be like quick. And two, no one's going to look at it, so it's not going to gain any traffic or anything, because no one will look at that. I could put things on there and then send you there via things like Twitter, but otherwise it's not going to get a huge amount in one go. It's not going to get like 200 people all using it at the same time. Doubt it's going to get 200 people in the same day, let alone the same time, so it'll do fine. It's a good little investment and a brilliant learning opportunity. The amount of things I've learned setting that thing up are good, because I've never actually played with half of that stuff. Bloody hell, I'm thirsty. Didn't realise how thirsty I was. But yeah, otherwise it's just gone, well, according to that, 5 o'clock, because the true thing is 12:30, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get up early tomorrow. We've got a lot to do tomorrow, so we've got to be productive. Sunday can be my relaxed day. Saturday is get stuff done, maybe do a bit of web dev in the evening time. Hopefully it's nice cool weather. Hopefully it's not raining, because I need to go to town and get my hair cut. But yeah, hopefully it's not raining, but hopefully it's not hot either. Well, it can rain. I don't mind it raining, but if it's going to rain, it needs to be like cold enough to wear a coat or something, because I don't like hot rain. Anyway, yeah, so I'll see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Another week down at work. Jolly good fun. Server setup is actually fully functional and running yesterday. I thought it was fully functioning and running yesterday, but it wasn't. I lied, because I was foolish and didn't think to test it on a different network, like turn my phone to mobile mode instead of Wi-Fi mode and see if it still worked, which it wouldn't have done. It wouldn't have worked if I tested that, but now I've tested it, it'll work. So yeah, the websites exist if you want to go to bltzsoftware or jeremyped.co.uk, bltzsoftware.co.uk or jeremyped.co.uk. You'll be greeted by a hideous splash page that is literally just some text saying hello. Don't believe me? You can check. But the cool thing is, I think this is cool anyway, you might not think this is cool. When you do access the website, if you go to the website or whatever, all of the bytes that you... Wait, hold on, I'm just sorry about this, guys. I should just do this really when you're not filming. But, just adjusted my microphone. What was this going to say? Yeah, when you type in your little browser and press enter, a little request, a little bit of data like that, will go off into a server, into another server, into another server, into another server, into another server, into this server, into my own bedroom, in which case that will go, there's what I want to send back, and it will send back, it will go back to along all the servers, back to your browser, and then display something, I think that's really fucking cool. That the website that you will look at is coming from my house. It blows me away, and it's in my house. But when I access it from somewhere else, or send a link to Dad or whatever, and tell him that, yeah, that just came to my house, man. I think that's really cool. But I'm kind of a nerdy geek, and I don't think my job is helping me out in that either. It's just making me even nerdier and even geekier and even more enthusiastic about this kind of shit. I don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, I'm going to get going. I'm going to be getting up at 8, but I don't want to waste too much of the morning. I want to be out of here by 12. 8, probably getting up at 8. We'll see. I'll probably end up waking up before 8, but I'll set my alarms for 8. And then tomorrow we've got a fun day of travelling around, doing stuff. Maybe a bit of a shop, but I doubt it. But yeah, we'll probably go to town, spend a bit of time in town tomorrow. So yeah, we'll have that to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. I've been at work all week, so hopefully I'll be able to do something fun with you over the weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.